Rakatay Howard Shai.
Rakatay Howard.
Rakatay Howard.
Rakatay Howard Shai.
Rakatay Howard Shai.
Rakatay Howard.
Rakatay Howard.
Rakatay Howard Shai.
Brothers from the city of Indianapolis Camp, we're going to start out by giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. The apostles, the elders, great millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you, brothers, pushing the truth, week in, week out, in sincerity, charity, and love in the spirit of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. All right, we're just going to get into why, these nations are going to end up hating the whore. All right, they already do hate, a.k.a. Babylon, a.k.a. America. All right, but this gives them even more reason. All right, and this is actually one of America's allies. All right, that they pretty much set up for the okie doke. Okay, so they would have to spend money with America. All right, it says when Donald Trump warned Europe, Europe, Europe,
Europeans.
Europe leaders years ago that they are depending on Russia gas would have would leak them, would lead them. It's like it, bro. I'm in transit. I'm having a brother read it.
It says when Donald Trump warned European leaders years ago that their dependence on Russian gas would leave them hostage to Moscow, the remark was met with skepticism
Yeah,
and even laughter.
yeah, because what happened? If you know what went on a couple years ago, that pipeline got blew up. The pipeline that was supposed to help supply Europe from Russia. You know, pretty much Trump warned them. And they were saying, that they believe that Babylon has something to do with that incident, man. All right, go ahead and read a little more.
Since nearly a year ago into the second term, those same leaders are now scrambling to see long-term, struggling, are now scrambling to secure long-term contracts for U.S. liquefied natural gas as Russia's once dominant grip on Europe's energy market unravels exactly as Trump predicted.
Yeah, because Europe don't have no natural resources or anything like that. All right, so they're gonna what? They're gonna need, aka Babylon. All right, because they said Russia has increased the prices so high. You know, go ahead.
So Russia's decision to choke off gas, Russia's decision to choke off gas deliveries in 2022, an attempt to fracture Western utility and pressures Europe into uh, 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 abandoning Ukraine, has had the opposite effect. Right, so they thought it was gonna go one way, man, and it went another way, man. All right, because you know what, these dudes, this is all the Lord doing this stuff. All right, these guys have no control. They think they have control, but Yahweh Shema Shai is the one that's out of control, man. All right, it says Russia's decision to choke off deliveries in 2022 to attempt to fracture Western utility and pressure Europe into abandoning Ukraine has had an opposite effect. Its share of Europe gas imports have fallen from 45% in 2021 to under 10% today. U.S. gas now accounts are nearly 57% of U.S. total imports, compared to roughly one third before the war. Yeah, man. So Trump was one of this dude, hey, don't be dependent upon him. Now, hey, everything they were trying to do against Trump has pretty much backfired against him. You know, now what's that? 57% is over half. Over half of that country's imports are coming from America, man. All right, to cut off a cut off cut, cut off accelerated. It's like history, historic realignment in global energy with the U.S. LNG producers rushing to fill the void The shift has not only been uh, blotted out one of Vladimir Putin's most powerful geopolitical weapons, but also fueled an American export boom that is binding Europe more tightly to Washington than any did, it's like binding Europe more tightly to Washington than at any point since the Cold War. Yeah. So now, now they pulling them closer and closer. You know, now we got it's pretty much like, now I got you right in my hands where I wanted you. You know, so
Yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna, this is why they're gonna hate the horde because of things like this. This is all a setup. You know, because they said what did Trump do? He laughed and told him a few years ago what was gonna happen. You know, so he knew it was gonna happen. He knew that they was gonna be dependent on AKA Babylon. All right. This is Obadiah 1:7.
Obadiah chapter 1, verse 7. It says, all the men of that confederacy, or that word confederacy goes in and joins together pretty much, one unit, that brought thee even to the border, the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee.
You think about it. If you pretty much forced me into taking your natural gas, man, that's gonna make you upset. You know. These are the reasons that these people are going to turn on AKA Babylon, man. You put my back up against the wall, I have no other choice but to deal with you.
Uh,
You know?
It says, they either I bread have laid a wound under thee, there is no understanding in him. Shall it die? Shall I die in that day, saith the Lord? Even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mouth of Esau. All right. It says, and thy mighty ones, O Timna, shall be dismayed to the end that everyone that of the day of Esau may be cut off. All right. So that's what's going to happen too, man. All right. Eventually, hey, these dudes are going to turn against each other. The Lord's going to jump in. All right. Esau going to eventually be cut off. But right now, this is just letting you know, man, these dudes that are they try to be at peace with each other are not at peace with each other. What does the scripture say? A house divided against itself cannot stand. You know, and that's exactly what's happening right now. They're all divided because they really divided because it's a big argument on who's gonna be the next superpower, but we're gonna be the next superpower, man. Israel, man. You know, that's gonna be the next superpower.
God.
What you got?
Go ahead and grab Jeremiah 51:7.
Jeremiah 51 and verse 7. Since Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, it made all the earth drunken. They have drunken from her. Therefore the nations are mad.
They are mad because they followed the philosophies. All right, they took on the customs of this place, and also ladies are mad because what things like this, what America has done to them, man. You know, look what America is doing. He's putting their back up against the wall. It's not the only place. You got things where Babylon is out over there messing with Africa as well right now. All right, the devil is always got his hand in something, man, in some type of way to try to contradict or change change it to his narrative, man, the way that he wants it to go. All right, to deceive you. Is he the deceiver? You know,
Even off of the, I mean, everything that's going on, even in the world right now, man. You know, there's threats being, like I said, even with the so-called shutdown. You know, that was a ball of crap, man. Because everybody wanted to get their agenda in, you know. And those agendas that these guys are placing, these laws that these guys are setting, is going to turn on them, man. All right, they should be snares in their own traps, as the scripture says. You know, this is the transformation is most valuable, is most visible in Central East European, where once re, when countries once relent on Russian pipelines are turning west. All right, and that's a slap to the face to Russia, man. You know, it says turning west. It says the Caldor, Lincoln, and LGN terminals in Portland, Greece, and in Costa Rica are changing. U.S. and Qatar goes deep into the continent. Nations such as Ukraine, Romania,
Romania, Slovakia.
long variable to supply cause are having contracts that would have been unthinkable just a few years ago. So yeah, so now they are doing the unthinkable. You know, having contracts with America. Nobody would have thought that Russia would be having contracts with America at this point. Not for no oil. You know,
For the natural gas.
it's a Central and Eastern Europe have been the most vulnerable because they were the countries that had been historically almost 100% dependent on Russia's gas,
Depending.
depending on Russia's gas. And Ari Sadius and Senior Energy now now we knew companies in those markets securing Portland and the southern corridors through Greece. So now they pretty much Trump and them taking over everything, man. All right. It says for the curling tolls and mounting energy exports once found a third of Russia's budget, but the boss of the most lucrative market has forced Moscow to send oil and gas to China and India and, and steep discounts. Analysts say that the country's energy sector, once once the backports of geopolitical power, has become liability, exposing dependence on fewer less items. Right, man. So they gonna put the squeeze on certain people, man. They gonna get a plug out to other people. You know, it's nothing new up under the sun. That's just how they do us, man. You know, you do Latino Native Americans, y'all gotta pay the bulk of it. All right, while these other guys coming in, man, they're gonna pay the bare minimum. You know,
God,
Florida.
God. We just show you why these nations are gonna get mad.
Yeah,
Now you taking money out of Russia's pocket. All right, you put Europe's back up against the wall. You know, so these nations are upset about that, man. You know, and that's why they're gonna hate the whore. And that's why everybody's gonna turn on this place. This is another, just another reason why everybody's gonna turn on this place and nuke this place.
that's right.
All right. That was just a quick hit with that. We're going to give all praise, glory, and honor to
Yahweh,
Yahweh, by Hashem,
Bashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahushai,
by Hashem,
Bashem,
Karkadash.
Karkadash.
Them honors the apostles, elders, and great millstone who rule and teach well. And peace, salutation to these brothers, pushing this truth week in, week out, in sincerity, charity, and love, and the spirit of Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai. With that, shalom.
Shalom.